Hello, this is Matty77 at Bottom Feeders Incorporated, and today we're starting up a new series of videos, which I'm going to be calling the Virtual Arcade, where we do arcade games. It's going to be old games. Maybe I'll do Joust someday. There'll be new games. I'm doing Super Stardust HD Ultra right now. It's just pretty much what delineates these from other games is their arcade style. Whether they're actually in an arcade or not. And it's a Housemarque game, which pretty much gives it a +5. With anything I have to say or do involving it. I've mentioned them before, I'll mention them again. Housemarque is one of my favorite companies. It's so sad that they weren't able to keep going
Stardust.
as a pure arcade type experience. What do we got on options? Yeah, I don't need to change this, I don't think. That's better. Let's do Planet. No, arcade's just the normal. Start with that. Go normal. Loggy. This boost feels better on the right than the left, I think. So how you play this? Spin around a planet, you shoot some stuff. You shoot not only enemies, but you get these rocks.
Get ready.
You collect power-ups, which change your weapon types.
Rock crusher activated.
And obviously more powerful it's better. But it also certain like rock cutter's best for this.
Gold melter
Like that's a better gold melter right there, because I got a gold melter power up. But rock crusher's still better for this. But if you get like tons of gold ones, even when you're fighting rock, you might as well use the gold cutter. Point, which means I didn't get to it fast enough. Well, it's pretty much self-explanatory. It's an arcade game. I mean, and while they can kill you and they hold your power-ups, these aren't actually the enemies.
Weapon up.
Nice. Well, while I'm kind of new to making videos and having a YouTube channel, it's the first video I made of it. It's definitely not the first time I've played this game. I feel like it would be very disingenuous to say otherwise. I only point that out because while I do play some games I've played, I play a lot of games blind. That was bad.
Ready.
That's the kind of thing that'll keep you from getting too far. Because I got my bombs on there now. Not that.
Get ready.
Caterpillars, some of the worst enemies too. Maybe I should have played too easy just to get myself acclimated, but oh well, no going back now, right? Yeah, I did pretty bad. No. I guess I'm gonna try it on easy once, just to get acclimated. But it's simple, but it's not. I mean,
Weapon up.
yeah, that was the ice.
Weapon up.
Two of them.
Melter activated. Weapon pressure activated.
As for format on these videos, it could be anything from 20 minutes to an hour.
Weapon up.
To a one look, something we play through.
Weapon
It
up.
all depends. It's again, because there's no particular set standard. The big thing gonna be that they're all arcade style. Plus, because they're arcade style, you might also find I might do a video or something. Like for instance, I for this series have downloaded Downwell, and you might see me play Downwell and do crappy like I have been since I've been playing it. But if I play it every day, I might be able to return to it 2 months later and just kick its ass. And it may happen where it's like, oh, I found this arcade game that's an arcade game, but we want to see it all the way through to the end, so there's going to be multiple videos, and then one day in the middle, just out of nowhere, there could be a Downwell video, and then back to that other game. But it's just, I'm not trying to... Some video series you have a different format than others. Some are looser, some are tighter, but this is definitely the one kind where it's looser, because it's... Arcade games cover so much ground. The only real signifier being, can you see this being something they put into a building in a cabinet by itself to try and sneak you to put a quarter in it? When I say quarter, I doubt you could find an arcade game for a quarter if you can find an arcade game, but there was a time. And I don't know if you were to find an arcade how much they cost these days and what that would translate to in coinage. So I'm just trying to hedge my bet. I'm just saying a quarter. Just saying it in general way versus.
Bomb.
But this comes with, not only do you have the arcade mode, which is what we're looking at, but there's a lot of other different game types and options. They packed a lot into this for an arcade game. We'll also eventually take a look at like Resogun. This is another game I love because it's pretty much Defender. And Defender will always have a special place in my heart. It was one of the first games I really got into. In any format. But I'll also remember it because I used to come home from school and play on my Atari 2600 all afternoon. And you can complain as much as you want about that port. And it wasn't nowhere near as good as what was in the arcade or other later ports. But at the time, I had Defender in the house, and it was the first Atari game that I rolled the score on.
Weapon up.
And I'll always remember it and love it for that too. There they are. So I guess you could say in some ways that's that game, because of that, it's probably one of the things that solidified games as being my major hobby for the rest of my life. But yes, we're calling it the Virtual Arcade. And of course, most of the games that fit into this these days are mostly playable, purchasable, whatever, digitally too. That's the other reason for the virtual aspect of it. God forbid you try to sell something like in this format at retail.
Weapon up.
You know, God forbid people have fun with old school type of experiences. Can't enjoy it unless it's a $60, 80-hour open world with busy work, right? I'm only being half sarcastic with that.
Gold muncher activated.
It does seem at times like I see more and more of that attitude. A real game? Well, what's a real game? Yes, I know, phone. I can't do anything yet.
Weapon up. Weapon up.
Look at that. Ah, there was a shield one came up. Hold on 1 second. I have a very important call just came up. Sorry about that. That was a very important call, but I didn't want to... That's the other thing. With some of the editing issues I have, I don't want to try having to edit two separate videos together until I'm a little more confident. Plus, I don't know. It's noticeable. It seems to be pause and stuff. I should have some money coming up. It's sad because I just bought an external HD, but it looks like I might have to purchase a new internal too. I have this sinking feeling that my internal drive is starting to fail. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Rock pressure activated. Pressure activated.
But yeah, this game is the best of both worlds. I mean, you couldn't do this on actual old school arcade hardware. There's so much going on. I mean, just graphically, mostly, but even some of the other stuff, there's between bombs and the, love that speed boost, which I should be using. And the switchable weapons for differing enemy types. I mean, there's just so much going on in this game that,
Get
that wouldn't necessarily be replicatable on old school hardware, but it's still, for all of that, old school. It's, you throw more and more stuff at you, you gotta shoot it down and stay alive. The better you do, the more points you score. You died, start over, try to do it better. I personally think that there's more, there should be more time and space for this sort of an experience, especially in this day and age. Beyond the fact that it's sad that people act like they aren't real games, like, just the fact that you can... Oh, it's on me. There's just so many different fun styles of arcade games out there that you could be doing, and it just... It's fun, and... We're in a day and age where you can just put it out on a streaming service or put it out digitally. Especially digitally, the advent of digital. To me, has been one of the greatest things in video games. Because it just allows for so many more game types and game variety. and for people to be able to make games.
Weapon up.
There was a time a lot of the games we play nowadays, and I'm not talking completely weird little things. I'm talking like your indie darlings. Like, I don't know if without digital distribution you'd get a Hollow Knight. And do people really want to live in a world where there is no Hollow Knight? No, I wouldn't. Then again, maybe it is because I'm old. Or I still see the value in a lot of game types that, if we're being honest, had their heyday when I was still a kid. That's the thing, I'm not trying to bring it all back. I'm not saying this is the only valid game type and everybody should be focusing more on games like this. I just think it's valid, and I'm glad that we live in an age where you can make these kind of games now. But that's our first episode of the Virtual Arcade. We'll be doing more. Hopefully, one of these times I can do better at this particular game and get some footage of it. I mean, I used to be able to run from planet to planet. And also, maybe we'll take another time to look at it soon, where we can look at some of the other types of games. Like I said, there's quite a few game types in the game. But this has been Matty77 at Bottom Feeders Incorporated. Thank you for watching, and hopefully